A few months ago, I was staying in my partner's apartment for a few weeks by myself. I don't quite remember why I was out that late, but it was around 1 a.m., and I just got off transit. Only one other guy got off with me, and he was rather tall and walked briskly. I was ahead of him at first, but he quickly passed me because even though I have a quick stride, I'm a pretty short guy. I don't normally live in that city, so I'm not sure why, but streets were incredibly empty. I remember thinking that because there wasn't even a single car on the road. We were literally a 5-minute walk away from a major university, so it was very odd to see not a single person or car. The only lights on were street lights. I've spent nights at my partner's place before, and I never remembered it being this dead. Anyways, I had walked down the street and was coming up to an intersection where I had to turn left. I noticed this guy standing around in the front of the bank that was on the corner. The guy ahead of me walked by him with no problem and went straight. I was a bit wary, but I didn't think much of him until maybe I was a meter away and he had sidestepped to be in front of me and held his arms wide open, grinning at me. I glanced in the direction of the guy who left the train with me, but he was across the street already. My heart was already pounding at this point, and I think I may have started to dissociate from the stress because I can't remember what he looked like, even though I remember looking directly at him. If this sounds like an overreaction, I have a history of multiple cases of CSA by different people and have PTSD among other mental illnesses I still struggle with. At the time, I was falling back into my disordered eating again, and I was also underweight, in addition to being short. So definitely not the person you'd expect to win in a fight, and I knew it. I remember being frozen for a moment, and then on instinct I very politely said, "No thank you." Took a step to the right towards the street and tried to keep walking forward. He moved in front of me again, still with his arms wide open, expecting me to hug him, still grinning. For some reason, I repeated my polite refusal and sidestepped him again instead of running the opposite direction. Luckily, he let me pass, but I could hear him following me from a short distance. I was wondering what I could do in that moment. I couldn't fight him. There was no one around. If I tried to call someone, he was close enough to grab me, and I wasn't able to run very fast. Suddenly, I hear his steps speed up to a sprint, and before I could react, he slowed down again. I walked a bit faster. He repeated the same thing over and over. I wondered if I should go on a different path so he doesn't know where I live. It wasn't the best idea since I didn't know the city well, and he probably knew it better than I did. I decided I knew I could find help in the lobby, at least compared to if I went somewhere else. He sprinted at me again, and I turned and loudly asked him, "Do you need any help?" I remember not feeling my body and feeling lightheaded from the anxiety, despite how panicked I felt. My voice came out clearly, and I sounded disdainful. I don't think I meant to sound like he was annoying and inconveniencing me, but that's how it came out. Then he spoke for the first time and responded, "No, do you need help?" I didn't say anything to that and just turned back around and kept speed walking towards my partner's apartment. He was still following, but now he was talking. I can't remember much of what he said. I just focused on getting back without being assaulted. Eventually, I heard him stop walking. I know I'm scary. I don't know why he said that. I took the opportunity to put more distance between us and kept speed walking. He didn't keep following though, he just kept saying, "I know I'm scary." He got louder and louder the further I got. I got to the door of the apartment building and looked back. He was no longer in sight. I unlocked the door to the building and then ran upstairs instead of taking the elevator. When I got into the apartment, I went straight to the window because the unit had a large window facing the street. I wanted to see if I could see him. Nothing. The streets were empty. I texted my partner about my experience, but he was already asleep and wouldn't see it. Luckily, I haven't seen that man again, and I hope I never will.